Okay. Hey, let's go ahead. Good. Thank you all very much for coming back. Join a line. Join a line. Got 2 lines. Get in the middle. Yeah, 2 lines of 3 is good. Yeah. There you go. I don't know if you've ever seen Japanese people line up, but it's like birds on a wire. You notice how they all arrange themselves so that they're all the same distance from each other, and they all hop around, and nobody really knows what's happening. And you see everybody going, okay, are we all doing the same thing? Okay, so that's a good thing. So go ahead and fill in the space here. We've got a gap between the birds. So John and Dale, why don't you just come in and fill in the space. That's kirei. That's pretty that way. Okay? All right. Let's do our bows. Okay. We're going to put this on the left side. We're not fighting right now. Okay. Good afternoon. Hey. Shomen ni. Right. Otagai ni. Right. All right. Here's our bowing practice. It's good practice. Keep your neck straight when you do that too. You see somebody they're bowing and they're hunching, not so good. All right. Well, we're going to do Ukon, but let's start. We're going to do our trapping movements first, and just because I want to make sure we cover Kihon. That's kind of a weird way to do it. Now that I think about it, I probably should have maybe spent the whole class on all the Kihon on the first day, but that's all right. Let's get everybody, go ahead and line up over here, and we'll talk about these 3 trapping movements. And the way we do them, now there's some things you can do combatively with the Jo that this feeds into. And one of them we talked about, if we're at the end of the kata and we're doing this number right here, and the guy gets a little frisky, you can just come in and pop him like that. You can block things like that. So this motion of coming up with the Jo is a really important motion. So the way to get into our Kiritsuke position is that if we think of the sword as coming right down, I'm standing straddling this line, sword's coming right at me here, and if I do this, well, I hadn't actually left the line. I got pieces of me that are still in danger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step. I'm just going to take this foot and move it to the left. This is if you do the walking exercise, that's kind of how that works. But yeah, think 1, 2. And I want you to watch this motion. This place right there, everybody take this stick and just put it right here. And if you put your fist there, it's one fist kind of up and in front of your head. And this is Jodan position. If I were holding a sword, that's where I hold the sword. It's Jodan position. So I know this place. I know this place pretty well. Okay? So when I do this, I go each. So if you have some, each, ni, san type thing, it's slow. Hi. So 1 is the motion. And I'm actually kind of swiveling my body here. And you notice what I did was I stepped off of that line. I'm over here, totally clear of the path of the sword, and I've got this diagonal. So 1 here, and I want you to look at this angle. This guy's here. This is an unbendable arm, more or less. It just has to be up. And I'm in this position. So from here, I take both hands together. Roll it down. See my feet? On me position. This position. The only thing I did was bend my knees a little bit. Both of my feet are pointing forward. Okay? And I'm going to take the stick and put it in the crease of my leg here. This is really strong. Having it across the legs with the feet this way, there's nothing backing that up. So it's a little bit loose. This way is good. Gives me a little bit more ability to turn that way. I can hit this way. There's a lot of good things that happen from here. And all of my body power is still focused in this way. So this is Kiritsuke. And when we call it, we say Kiritsuke yoi. Here. Together. Yeah. And a little bit up with the backhand. This. If I'm fighting Dale, now Dale's going to be cutting me. Okay, so his hands are going to be a little bit down on my level, but Dale's a lot taller than me, so I might be here with Dale. With Courtney, about my height, I'm going to be here. We talked about the sword being, a little while ago, about being at the, this is extension of the sword. Well, if she's got her sword out at that shoulder level, I want this at the level of her hands. So this is what that does. It gets that, you want to have the tip of the jo down where the hands are. Nobody's got to have hands way up here if they're cutting you. Their hands are going to be really probably in front of their center. Here. So then together, both hands up here. Now don't get excited about the up. You're not, and turn your hip. Yeah, there you go. And posture here. Yeah, okay. All right. And so as we do this exercise, we're going to go each knee. And I want you to notice that all I'm doing is this. I'm not going whoop, whoop. You want to think of the energy of that up and down as being like fine-tuning. It's almost like I have a mechanism that is on this rotation. There. This part of it is like having a spring to maintain tension against the sword. So if the sword goes up, this will go up. Sword goes out and comes down, this comes down and in. That's nice. But if the sword just goes away, the main power of Kiritsuke is that. So that's your, anybody remember VHF dials? You had UHF and VHF. Well, remember you had to have, you put it on the, was it the UHF channels? And then you have the little dial that finds your station. That's the little one. You got a coarse and fine power settings, and you want to use both of those. So as we practice it, just worry about the big motion, okay? So let me come over here, a little bit of space, and together, Kiritsuke, yoi, hajime. Check your hips, check your feet, check your posture. Up. Hey. 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 One more. Hey. Okay, when we get done, yame. Turn to honte kamae, motoi. Feet up together. Okay, let's turn around. Maware mi. In this way. Tsune no kamae when you get done with your turn. Kiritsuke yoi. Remember to keep that tip a little down. Should be at least at the level of your eyes, not above. Hajime. Hey. 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 Yame. Motoi. Maware mi. Okay? Maware means turn around, migi means right hand direction. You could turn around left, but you want to have everybody doing the same thing. So that's it. Okay, so Kiritsuke. The next one, same start, Kuri-hanashi. Kuri-hanashi, both hands go forward. That. All you're doing is coming from here to gyaku-te kamae. So we know gyaku-te kamae, right? I want you to watch where my hand is. Guess what? My hand's in the middle of the stick here. When I get gyaku kamae, my hand just slid from halfway to 1/4. When I go back up, watch my front hand. So I'm lengthening and shortening the jo a little bit in this hand, so we need to remember that. I want you to resist the temptation to roll this back and come forward. If I'm here, I just want it to all come forward. Both hands together, right? Let's try Kuri-hanashi. Kuri-hanashi, yoi. A little closer to the head here, yep, and a little further up on that back hand. Yeah, there you go. And then hajime. Hey! 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 Yame. Too wide a grip, Frankie. Yeah. Da-da. Da-da. Motoi. Hey, mawari mi. Turn around. Yeah.
This way?
Yeah, right hand direction. Yeah, so if I'm here, I go tip down, turn that way, tip back up. And you want to just kind of let that tip snap back up into the center. Yeah. Okay. So, moikai, Kuri-hanashi, yoi. Hajime. Hey! 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 Yame. Toy. All right. Mawai mi. Hey, okay. So this is pretty easy, right? We got them. Next one gives people problems. Everybody tries to do bad stuff. Okay? And when I mean bad stuff, it's stuff that will injure your partner, and it's stuff that will make the technique not very effective, which will get you killed the next time you're attacked by a sword-wielding samurai. So I don't know if I told this story the other day, but I had a student of mine in Denton that I was telling him about the jo, and it's maybe not so practical because you're fighting against a sword, and there's not many people running around attacking people with swords nowadays. After class he says, well, you know, I'm from northern Pakistan, and they kind of do run around and attack people with swords. So I thought, okay, maybe, and they have just a little bit more sori than what we're used to, but I thought, okay, maybe this will help. So, all right. This one is called tai atari. Okay, tai atari. Well, the first one, Kiritsuke, we usually talk about it trapping, and skeru means to attach, to stick to something. Hanas, we know hanasu no kata, it's the word, it means usually translated as release. So hanas, kuri-hanashi, trap and release it. I release it by throwing it and letting it fly off on the trajectory, on a tangent line to my throw. Tai atari, same beginning. What I'm going to do with tai atari is throw that end up in the air and adjust this hand. So from here it came to here. This hand is in front of the sugets. This hand is right in front of the eyes. Notice that my knuckles are lined up so that I've got a good strong gyaku-te posture. And when I do this, I'm going to strike from below, and I'm going to strike sugets with my hip, my koshi. Hold. Notice that I'm not pushing down on top. Pushing down on top has a lot of bad properties. One of them is I will never reach my opponent. Dale, can you grab our sword for a second? Here. So, what's he going to do next? Probably going to raise the sword. If he does that, I'm going to pop you in the eye. Hey! So he's got the sword up here. Why did he turn it? If he doesn't turn it, he's going to get popped in the eye. Now, if I push on top, he can push on top, and we have just a big struggle. I'm actually not getting to him. What's the name of the technique? Tai atari. Tai means body. Atari is an interesting character in the kanji. It's the exact same kanji as atemi. It's a strike. Atari and atemi are the same kanji. It's not a body push. It doesn't say tai oshi. It says tai atari. So it's a strike. So from this position here, I'm going to do this. Oh! I knock him back. Okay? Later on, you'll find like Midare Dome is an example of a technique that if I were to do this, whoa! Do you see how I went with him? He's going to cut me because I followed him. I'm now too close to him. So I want you to think about Tai Atari as being a body strike from below. So I get a little bit of an off balance here because he raised the sword, I follow him up. He keeps his control of the situation a little bit there. And then if I'm in contact with him, that's great. So if your arms are a little bit back, I might be here. If I'm here, that's great. If I'm not here and I try to push through from the top, we're in a battle. I don't like that. I just relax, go through the bottom. And you see how I hit him? The way I think of Tai Atari, that action, is that little toy with the balls that swing and that they do like this. That's what I'm doing to him. I'm doing that. They don't go weem. They go like that. So that's the action of Tai Atari. When we practice it, we'll be doing like this. We're going to come here, we're going to come up, and then we're going to go, hey, 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 and at the very end, just lower to the eyes. Because really that's what we're going to do. Dale, I want to show you one more thing, because we've practiced this back home. If you get in the habit of pushing to his eyes as part of this strike, there's a very, very dangerous thing that will happen, which is that right here, after I push him back, if he lets his hands down, he's going to get smacked in the head. If his hands go too far back, he's going to get smacked in the head. And while that might be good for a combat, real fight, it's really bad for your partners. So when you're using the sword, if you're doing a paired exercise, keep this up as you go backwards. But let's, thank you, Rio. Let's go ahead and we'll do some solo practice of Tai Atari. Okay? Nishoni. Tai Atari Yoi. Same as before. Yeah, kneel a little bit closer to your head with that front hand. Yeah, they're a little high up with the back hand. Then come together, feet are together. Now I'm going to step with my right foot and push with my left hand. Thank you very much. Huh? Back here, scoop, strike, come back. Hey, one more. Hey. And we're a little too close to the wall, but at this point, I'll have you just lower that to the eyes. Yeah, there you go. So, Frankie, you should notice that this and this are the same hand positions. So when you do this strike, boom. Hey. Okay. Yame, motoi, maware mi. Okay. And one more time, Tai Atari. Oi. Hajime. Zzz. Hold. 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 One more. Hold. And lower to the eyes. Yame. Motoi. Maware mi. Okay. So these three trapping motions. And I don't want to spend too much more time with Kihon right now because I'd like to go and do another of the classical kata. This one's called Ukon. And Ukon, well, it's like Tsubawari. You look at that kata and you go, okay, I kind of get why they left that one out of Seitei. It's a booger. And Ukon is another booger. It has some interesting strategy and sword work in it, and I think you'll enjoy working with it. Now let's go through it, and Dale and I am going to use my Uchidachi, and we'll see how this works out for us. So Ukon, in the Seitei kata there's a technique called Sakan, and Sakan means entering on the left. Ukon means entering on the right. As they normally do, it describes the attacker's left and right. So if we were to do the starting position of Ukon is right here. Now he comes up and tries to chop at me. He's going to have a little problem because there's this block here. I'm not going to stand here. He might go through it. I might do this and pop him in the eye. But he knows that this is a problem for him. So if you notice, where is that? It's a little bit diagonally in front of my head. If I put it exactly straight over the top of my head, I think he still might be able to get me. So I want a little bit forward. I want my shoulders relaxed, arms up here. So if you know Sakan, you know that he will come through and attack on that diagonal. You can come diagonal, come into your hip, and he's going to try to thrust at me, and I take the blade. Okay. Well, Ukon, if you notice, that was on his left, on the attacker's left side. This one, that's Sakan. Ukon is on the right side. So as he comes in and attacks, I'm going to come and pop him right in the hip. This is basically Kiritsuke position, right? So this time I'm doing Kiritsuke to his body, and I'm going to lock that in here for a sec. Now, we're kind of at a stalemate. He really can't get to me. I've got his elbow trapped. I've got his body controlled. So what are we going to do? Well, maybe I'm going to take this and crack him on the head. Okay? So to do that, what I'm doing is I start sneaking my hand down here, and he says, oh, I don't like that. And when you do that, keep the tip of the sword up. Here, hey, more up. There you go. So what I've done is now Kiritsuke to the hip, gyaku-te strike. I'm going to hit him with gyaku-te. So boom, boom. Now I'm striking straight for the center of his head. I don't get him, let's rotate you a little bit, because he goes to Jodon but then turns his body. Jodon is here, but he turns his body and gets this deltoid. Nice, swordsman's deltoid. It's you want to make sure to absorb strikes with your nice fleshy muscle, not with the bone. If he puts it there, that's really, really bad. So he wants to get that elbow up, and his kamae here is protecting the head. Just the fact that he's got his arm up. So bam, I hit him with this, let's see, bam, bam, here. So I'm on right side, gyaku-te, and he's absorbed that strike. Well, my Iaido teacher one time said that when you get hit with a stick, well, after you're hit, you're kind of unhit. You know, if you get cut with a sword, you're still cut. They take the sword away and you got a hole in you. When you hit someone with a stick, after it hits you, well, maybe you get a bruise later. But at this point, he can pretty much just square up on me, push that, he just shouldered that thing out of the way. Oh, you hit me? Great. Okay, now I'm going to kill you. So this, obviously he stopped this strike. He's going to turn on me, and he's going to step forward with his, left foot and try to cut me. So I've got a little bit of a problem. The problem is I've lost center here. So as he does that, I draw back, and I want you to, this is the hakama skirt. You know, hakama are designed for one sense to hide your feet from your enemy. That's one of the benefits, but it makes it kind of difficult to teach. So I'm here. Notice where the tip of this stick is, but I want you to see this step. I'm almost going straight back. Now I've got to get outside of my foot, so I just go to the outside of my toes. And when I do that, I'm doing this. And I come to 1/4 of the jo, because I'm about to turn it over into my grip. All right, so I've got this place. He starts this attack. Now I got center line, and I kill him.
He needs to not die.
He needs to not die. So this is really teaching the swordsman how to absorb strikes, how to avoid getting killed. Remember we talked about omote is preparation for all. We got 70 kata. Great. First 12 they're the ones that teach you how to survive the other ones. So boom. Oh, sorry. So from here, hey. Now this is bad. Feel how that got you right on the wrist?
Moreover.
Once again, you have now a forearm muscle. Roll your hand. Go a little bit more up with the sword. Now, see how there's your muscle is on top. So as the sword starts to come across, make sure it's pointed at me. You're gonna catch it on that muscle. All right. Now we have. Can you guys see all right? You might want to come down. Okay. You might want to come down. At this point, we have a little ballet of death going on here. He's trying to figure out, he's already tried to get to me twice. It ain't working. So he's going to see, where does he get a shot at me? I want you to notice that I am not pushing his arm down. He's looking for an opening. And when he got to here, I had his eyes. When he gets to here, I'll knock his teeth out. I'll hit him in the throat. He's just gauging that these are not good places for him to try to jump on me and attack me. And then he gets to Suigetsu and he figures, you know what? I could probably absorb something right about there. Do you remember this? We talked about this. This is kind of the same position we had yesterday in Tsubawari. And this is this holding position here. A little bit of a horse stance. Hips are under. And I'm dropping here and pushing. So now, and at that time, what you've been trying to do here is you've been trying to find, here's a good target. You cut me across the hip, and I'm going to be in some bad trouble. So his idea was from here to he's going to try to cut me across the hip. So as he's doing this, and I'm tracing all the targets down the center of his body, he has to hear, oh. And I come in like this. Now, at this point, I've stopped this cut, but his hands are still kind of free. I don't really like his hands to be free, and I'm going to drop all the way down to here. So I've really rooted him into this. Now, at this point, I'm going to ground that sword. So what I do is, now, if he doesn't let the sword ground, let it hit right there. If he pulls the sword out of the way and I do this, he's going to get a broken shin. So this is it. I am pushing diagonally that way. It holds that sword. Now, he's going to withdraw his left foot and the sword. I didn't drop the sword down. What was holding my sword up went away. As soon as that goes away, I'm thinking, okay, got nothing on him now. I'm going to stand up here. This hand comes to the shoulder, and I'm going to hit him on his temple. Now he's stepped away with his right foot. Sword work was left, right, right? So he stepped away on the left foot and got off the stick. He stepped on the right foot, and I'm really, really extended and leaning out to get here. I square up. Anybody notice I got a problem? I got my wrong hand, wrong foot. We want to learn how to strike with the wrong hand. Sometimes you got to do that. So now I just let go of this hand. I put it in front of that hand. I come back here, and I'm ready to do my put away. And it's a left side put away. Once again, tracing targets, locked onto him. Luke, you've turned off your targeting computer. Yeah. So, okay, and that's Ukon. So it's not simple, but what I like about it is the strategy of the sword work. What are you doing with the sword? It's not just dead. It's got some oomph in it. It's got some nuance. So it's maybe a little complex, but we've got another hour to play with it. So let's go through it one more time. Here. He cuts to the hip, or cuts diagonally, and I get around it to here. And now I'm going to try to hit him, and he blocks that. And I come back as he strikes here, and I'm going to hit him again. He starts looking for targets. And now he thinks he can get away with something. I stop him. I drop, ground that sword. He takes that away. I'm going to start a little bit too far back, yeah. It's not that you're going to let me hit you, it's just that you're not running. You're trying to reestablish a position. Okay? So that's the Ukon. So it gets shorter. It's one of those that looks long when you start working on it. Let me do it one time from the sword side. Okay. So, now, there's different ideas about how to do this thrust. The way that I'm being taught is this is a big diagonal motion, and I want you to see this place. Think Zantotsuto.
Okay.
Straight. Oh, look at this. That thrust. Not a twisty.
Not a twist.
Just
okay.
Yeah. So he's hit me here. He's going to come in and start his attack, and I step up, and I'm going to step over here with this foot, get behind that, and then as I change, I come around with this foot to attack. It's here, and you want to be on that line. Now I'm looking for targets. Don't think I'll do it. I'm lowering, I'm lowering, I'm lowering. Maybe I'm just going to play nice. Not so much.
Yeah, I've been caught.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, this is where you want me. And then, oh, he's grounded that, ground the sword. And I noticed that I stepped forward just with this foot when I did that attack. Withdraw that. If I don't step back at all, it's a shorter strike. And there's ways of doing that. I do step back, and you have this lean come out. And then square up, change hands. And put away, left side, put away, come right over the top, down my line of targets, and I'm going to come off. Yes. Okay, so this is Ukon. Let's, we'll go ahead and line it, and we'll, whoa. Do you have another Joe over there?
Yes, I do.
Get these so that they're not going to fall. All right. Okay, let's do this together, and we'll go step by step with the stick. So, and maybe I'll step thee this way, okay? So, Ukon Yoi. Here, remember a little bit in front. Relax the shoulders. Okay, just do it this way, and then I'll come around in a second. Check people. So, when the sword strike comes, there's a diagonal, goes to the hip, and he's going to thrust right into the center. I step around it, come to the hip. So we have Kiritsuke block here. See how far back you are? And not this way. This way. Get your body in there. Knees forward, hips forward. Hand comes down to the end of the Joe. Step forward and strike here. So you're in gyaku-te position. Draw that foot toes to toes back here. And step back to your strike. Start lowering, lowering, lowering. When it gets to Suget's level, he's going to thrust at your leg and you stop him. Drop down. Knock this, and it's actually not going to be on the ground yet. It'll be about here because there's a sword there. Then it drops to the ground as the sword removes. Stand up. Put this on your shoulder. Big round strike to the temple. Straighten your posture. Change your hands. Draw back. Put away left side. Here. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at the left side put away, which in Seitei, you get that like in Shaman, fourth technique. Left side, if I have my left hand forward, put it in your left hand, draw back,